Now time for the A final, the women's 400-meter individual medley. And featured in this field, Julia Smit from Stanford Swimming, a silver medalist in the 400-meter freestyle relay in Beijing. And the fastest qualifier in the event earlier today, 4:45.40, the 400-meter individual medley. One silver and one bronze during the course of her outstanding career so far. She would like to fill one last category and will probably get a chance in London. We talked about it before the first event of the program, Rowdy, the World Championships this summer. And then as Michael Phelps talked about after his win in the butterfly, you know, the calendar just keeps turning so fast, and the London Olympic Games are going to be here before anybody knows it. Daphne Skelos will be down in lane 1. Competes for Penn State and will represent Greece in the Olympic Games. Haley Rowley out of the Boulder Swimming Club will be in lane 2. Emily Vernon out of Fast Swim Team will be in lane 3. The fastest qualifier, who we've already talked about, the Olympic veteran Julia Smit, now 23 years of age, a 6-footer. Nicole Vernon from Delaware Swim Team will be in lane 5. There is Vernon. Brazilian Escobar Torres from Mexico will be in lane 6. Abigail Shin on her left will be in lane 7. The Upper Arlington Swim Club. And lastly in the field, the final qualifier for this A final, the women's 400-meter individual medley out of the Delaware Swim Team, Kaitlin Jones. Fastest time in the world this year, 4:38.47 100ths. Hannah Miley from Great Britain. Good news for the British. Will the host country, will the British have a very strong contingent in the pool?
Absolutely, they've got a very strong contingent. They've got a really good swimming team. Hannah Miley in this event, as you mentioned, the top time in the world this year.
Julia Smit with the second fastest time at 4:38.83, the American record. And we're underway. First butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, and then bringing it home freestyle. 100 meters, the American record at 4:31.12, held by Katie Hoff, who we saw earlier in the program.
Julia Smit really looked relaxed coming out during that march in, and totally unlike, I'll never forget Nationals last summer where she just looked so tight when she marched out for her first final, and we ended up finding out she had an upper respiratory infection, and I don't think it was anything serious, but it was something that just kind of knocked her off her game, and she ended up not making the national team, the Pan Packs at those Nationals. Really had a very poor Nationals, obviously because she was sick, and has made a nice comeback. We talk about so much about comebacks and what swimmers like Katie Hoff has done, and now Julia Smit is doing the same thing, and she's been having a great year so far. Stanford grad, and she's always said that swimming is such a huge gift to her. It's been the greatest gift as far as seeing the world. She loves to travel.
And Smit turning first, and up in lane 7, Abigail Shin, also very much in the mix after the first 100 meters of butterfly.
Well, if my money's on anybody, it's got to be on Julia Smit, especially the fact that butterfly's her worst stroke. That's her weakest stroke, and she already built about a body length lead on the rest of the field there, Paul, and looking very good. An excellent backstroker, perhaps her second best stroke. And she was on the Olympic team in 2008 in the 200 freestyle as part of a relay, so you know freestyle is going to be a good stroke for her.
Originally from Mount Sinai, New York, as you mentioned, Rowdy, went on to Stanford. And Smit with the second fastest time in the world so far this year. A strong butterfly opener for her, and looks very smooth in the middle of the pool. Yeah. Julia Smit in lane 4, stretching out that lead, but keeping contact down in lane 2. Haley Rowley out of Boulder Swimming Club, moving up a little bit.
But I love the way Julia's looking right now. Very relaxed, kind of laid off the legs, almost like a kayak in the water. Great catch outside those shoulder joints. Lane 8 up, like you said, is
Kaitlin Jones out of Delaware Swim Team, making a move as well. Hiding there up at the top of the pool. We were focused in the middle, and that was a really strong backstroke leg for Kaitlin Jones, getting very much back in the mix. And I'm not sure that Julia Smit is aware of her over in lane 8, but she might need to take a look over to her left and take a look at lane 8.
And she will probably get the chance if she breathes to the left. Watch her as she comes into the wall, and now all of a sudden Jones is kind of fallen off the pace. Once again, if you think about Smit, she just gets better and better as the race goes on. She breathes to her left so she can get a quick view of Jones. I really don't think it matters. And that's the beautiful thing, again, about the IM. And all of a sudden you see Jones at the halfway mark and say, oh my gosh, she's going to make a race out of it. And look what Smit has done just in this breaststroke leg right here.
Well, one would guess that the move that Kaitlin Jones made, that backstroke leg was certainly her best because she made a nice move. But through the first 50 meters of the breaststroke, Smit extended out to at least a couple of seconds lead once again.
And especially in this, the 400 IM, there's a lot of different opportunities to look around without having to try to. One thing you want to do is, in swimming, you want to try to keep the blinders on as much as possible and not disrupt your stroke. But in the IM, especially this long IM, there's so many opportunities. You saw her breathe to the left going down, and then she breathed to the right coming back so she could see either side, and now she gets into freestyle. She breathes primarily to her right, but every once in a while she'll breathe to her left, and she'll be able to see to her left. You see she primarily leans to that right side. She's still getting that nice long distance per stroke. Good, solid, high body position. Huge lead for her. Best time in the world so far this year for her is 38.8, Paul. That's about a half a second off of what Miley has gone. She's second fastest in the world. I don't think she's going to be 38, but still a nice little win for Julia Smit.
Well, certainly a big favorite coming in, and she has certainly swum to that standard. Got pushed a little bit by Kaitlin Jones after the backstroke, but as soon as it turned over to breast and then to freestyle, it has been all Julia Smit bringing it home. The former Stanford Cardinal extending that lead, now coming up a little bit in lane 5. Nicole Vernon closing, but it is all Smit, and she's going to take it. We'll see if Kaitlin Jones can hang on at the top of the pool. It's going to be Smit in lane 4. Vernon next to her will finish second, and Kaitlin Jones out of the Delaware swim team.
And how about that Delaware swim team? Getting second and third, Nicole, Vernon, and Jones, both of them very young, 18, Vernon, 16 for Jones, both coached by Bruce Gimmel. Son Andrew, a great distance swimmer on the national team. A really nice job for Delaware swim team, but Julia Smit, a real nice victory. Not as fast as she might have liked to have gone. She's been a lot faster this year. She kind of gives a shrug of the shoulder, but it's hard to swim by yourself. And that's what she pretty much did the entire race.
We'll look back at a couple of different portions of this 400-meter individual medley by our winner, Julia Smit.
She's got to be very careful. Watch her kick. It almost looks like she has a little bit of a split kick. The rule says you have to keep those feet together. That's almost borderline on the possibility of getting DQ'd. The problem is it's underwater. It's very hard to determine. There's that, once again, that great kayak position. The hips doing so much work. Great reach out in front, and then just kind of throws her hand to her feet and then bring it home in the freestyle. You can see how much distance she has right along there with her and the rest of the field. Nice victory for Julia Smit.
And Julia joins us now. Julia, try to catch your breath. Congratulations on the win. I know you would have liked to go a little bit faster. Kaitlin Jones, don't know if you saw her up in lane 8, but she pushed you a little bit after one of those legs.
I didn't see her, but...
I didn't think so.
Yeah, I would have liked to go a little bit faster, but at this point in the season, you know, it's just all about racing hard and getting a lot out of the meet, so I have to be happy with it.
And are you happy now where you're at in your life as far as your training? I know you had to be a little disappointed, and we were talking about being sick last summer at the national championships. Are you back on track as far as your health goes, as far as what you want to try to accomplish this summer?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a sickness that really affected me last summer. It was really about, I think, the transition between college swimming and then, you know, professional swimming for myself. So it was a big transition for me. I always thought that I lived for college swimming, so kind of adjusting to that was hard, but I'm happy with where I am now.
Well, you did a nice job there, Julia. Really good. Glad to see you back.
Thank you.
Julia, thanks so much for spending some time. Julia Smit, winner once again here in Indianapolis in the women's 400 meter, and hanging on once again, Nicole Vernon and Kaitlin Jones, both out of the same club. A couple of teenagers to look for from Delaware. More swimming when we come back to Indianapolis.
Presenting the awards this evening, Grand Prix Administrative Referee and Indiana Swimming Finance Vice Chair, please welcome Lucy Duncan. Your third place finisher from Delaware Swim Team, Kaitlin Jones. And second place from Delaware Swim Team, Nicole Vernon. And your 400-meter individual medley champion for the Indy Grand Prix with a 4:44.53 from Stanford Swimming, Julia Smit. Congratulations to Julia and all the top finishers in the women's 400-meter individual medley. Next up is event number 8, men's 400-meter individual medley bonus final.